Okay guys, just a quick disclaimer before I start. I'm making this video because I think these things are important to talk about, but if you're easily triggered by talk of eating disorders, extreme weight loss, or restriction, please don't watch this video because the last thing I would want is to trigger you more, because the stuff I'm going to be talking about is basically all that. So, before I get into this, I also just want to say that I personally have not had an eating disorder myself. I've had some, I would say, I guess, bad eating habits, or generally speaking, I don't diet for the reason that I don't want to develop an eating disorder, because I am pretty uptight about things. So, like I said, there would be times when I'd be anxious about, like, oh, are there chemicals in my food? Am I going to get cancer and die? So, and before you're like, that's not what an eating disorder is. Eating disorders are very varied, and I have done a fair bit of research into eating disorders. I know, for instance, that orthorexia, that doesn't get talked about very much, but it is an eating disorder that can occur, and it's basically fearing that your food isn't pure enough, not so much about a weight loss or whatever else is going on. So I'm going to be talking about mostly symptoms of anorexia and restriction. I personally, like I said, I haven't done this myself, which is a good thing. You should not restrict, and I'll get into it. But I've done a fair bit of research. Just over the years, I've watched a number of videos about it because I was kind of curious when the whole Eugenia Cooney thing was happening. And I will be talking about Eugenia Cooney in this video. So, I don't want anyone to come after me for what I'm going to talk about. So, those are the disclaimers. If I get something wrong, please politely correct me down below. I can't speak English, I'm very sorry. But, the last thing I want to do is offend anyone. I want to be helpful, because this is just something that concerns me a lot when I see, especially young people, developing or doing these things online, and it's just not okay and healthy. And although, like I said, I haven't restricted food myself, I have struggled with self-esteem issues and body image, so I can definitely say I can understand that on some level. And like I said, I used to have OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder. I had compulsions that involved talking and asking the same question over and over when I was obsessed about something and anxious. For instance, is it going to rain tomorrow? Do you think it's going to rain tomorrow? Is it going to rain tomorrow? I used to do that all the time when I was about 11 or 12. I don't have it anymore. I've gotten better, but I do know what those sort of symptoms are, and I do have an obsessive brain, so it's definitely a similar vein of the compulsion being, you know, to either restrict or to binge and purge or binge or whatever your eating disorder is. So, like I said, those are the kind of disclaimers I just want to put up before starting the video. Anyway, hi guys, welcome back to Raya Ren. I keep forgetting I changed the name of my channel. Anyway, so it's just like a bunch of things that I found out about / was thinking about all kind of happened at once. And I wanted to make so I was noticing I recently unfollowed Eugenia Cooney again, because I was noticing her severe weight loss. And the reason I unfollow her is partly because I wouldn't say it's triggering to the sense of it's not going to cause me to have an eating disorder, but it does trigger my anxiety because I am worried for her, and also I feel like I don't want to enable her, so I'll get into that a bit later. So I was thinking, oh, I'll make a video about Eugenia Cooney, and then I always go down weird rabbit holes. I'm just going to say this right now, that I have a bad habit of going down rabbit holes, which are just weird. Like I mentioned, it's not drama, but it's always just like, I'm interested to see, like, what's going on with people. So, like, when I first found out about Eugenia Cooney a couple years ago, I went down the rabbit hole of, oh, what the heck is she okay? I guess it's almost like a sense of morbid curiosity, and I'll get into that in a bit more later. And the thing about Eugenia is that I actually started watching Onision because of it. Like I said, I was 14, and I now know that Onision is a total creep, and fortunately, I never interacted with him. I wasn't on any forums or anything, but I did watch some of his videos. But looking back, that was my bad, and I'm not going to be talking about Onision because that's not the point of this video. Onision is kind of the last thing I want to talk about. I mean, I could talk about how he's completely off base and doesn't understand mental health, but again, not a topic worth discussing. So, me being this morbidly curious person that I am, went down this rabbit hole of body dysmorphia in K-pop because, not even body dysmorphia, body shaming in K-pop because of all these idols that were body shamed, and it's like Wendy from Red Velvet and like CL was body shamed, like Blackpink, like all of the thing about Jennie is that she's very slim, but people will find an excuse to hate on Jennie no matter what. So it's like I went down this rabbit hole about like body shaming in K-pop, and I'm not specifically going to be talking about body shaming in this video. I do think body shaming is a horrible thing and it should not exist. You should never body shame anyone, but that's not really the point of this. So when I was doing all this random research on it, I found out about Jimin, and I found out about the Jimin diet. So I wanted to make a video about that, and then I went on TikTok, and there's suddenly a shit ton of people saying, I didn't really see any pro-Anna videos, but there's suddenly a shit ton of videos talking about eating disorders. A lot of them are recovery videos, which is fine in my opinion, but there are some that are pro-Anna, and I was seeing some people say there were videos that were pro-Anna and that were triggering, so I was like, oh, shit! So there's like 3 things I wanted to talk about, and it just kind of all conglomerated into the front of my mind, and I'm like, this is worrying me. So I just wanted to talk about this. Now, I just want to be clear, I'm not going to be talking specifically about, this isn't going to be some like long-winded rant on, oh, these celebrities have bad habits. This is going to be more about people online who are promoting stuff and people who are just doing unhealthy things and just in general. But I do want to talk about Eugenia a bit just because that was something I wanted to discuss separately. So before I get into like the main thing I want to talk about, so the thing is that Eugenia Cooney, I think she's a lovely person, and I do not believe that Eugenia Cooney would lie on purpose or manipulate people. Like, I don't think she's a manipulative person at all. I think she's extremely sweet, and it's against her nature to be manipulative. Now, the thing about Eugenia is that she went into quote-unquote recovery, and now that she has been out for a few months, she is looking pretty bad again, and I will say that myself. I definitely think she does not look well, and I think she has fallen into old habits. Now, I want to be clear that I am aware recovery is not linear, and I'm not saying she isn't making an effort to recover, but it feels like she isn't based on the things I can see. Now, again, it may not be in her control. Her mother may be enabling her. I'm not entirely sure what the situation is, and this video isn't really about Eugenia, but the point is that her quote-unquote recovery only happened because of her friends, and there was like a difference between what she and Shane said than what Jaclyn Glenn said. I don't watch Jaclyn Glenn, I don't know, and the whole thing was just a big debacle, and I didn't know who to even believe at that point. So, and that she only went in because her friends basically forced her into a psych unit, and you can't force someone into a psych unit, and blah, 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 blah. It's just a whole thing. I'm not really sure what to believe at this point, but the point is I think she's getting worse again, which is a shame, and I am worried for her again. But I bring this up because I remember, especially back in the day, everyone was worried and everyone was body shaming. So before, pre-recovery, rehab, a lot of people were body shaming her. They were saying, oh my god, she's enabling people, she's hateful, she's not even hateful. They would just say she's ugly. They would say, you look like a skeleton. And this is one of the things that I see people do a lot. And I just want to clarify 2 things. 1, body shaming is not okay regardless of whether you're fat or skinny. Trying to snap someone out of it by being mean is not okay. There's no excuse to be an asshole. You can be concerned for someone. You can say, oh no, this person looks underweight or overweight. But you don't have to say, oh my god, you look like a fucking skeleton, get up. And I know some people will see that as a compliment. In Eugenia's case, she does, because she thinks she's into Nightmare Before Christmas and all that. But that's also a problem, because in other words, that's just enabling her. So either way, it's not okay. Please don't make comments like that. The other thing I want to say is that I'm not blaming these people for doing this, because obviously they have eating disorders or some sort of body dysmorphia and aren't, Eugenia never said she's enabling people, but she would never try to. This is what I'm saying. I don't think she ever wants to enable people. She always says you're beautiful the way you are. She is loving others before she loves herself, which is something that I am going to get to a bit more later. So, Eugenia has this thing about, always telling people to be themselves and telling people that they're pretty because, and I will say this is something that I can speak as a teenage girl for a long time who had self-esteem issues, that you tell everyone they're pretty, and people tell you you're pretty and you don't believe them. So an extreme case of that would be body dysmorphia, and would be in the case of Eugenia Cooney saying everyone else is pretty at their perfectly healthy weight, and her being at a slim weight and still thinking she's not thin enough. I'm just using Eugenia Cooney as a popular example, of someone dealing with this. And I bring it up because I remember back in the day when I was actively following the whole thing, before she went into recovery, when she was just getting worse and worse, the biggest thing I remember was that there were a lot of comments from young fans, probably mostly teenage girls who are watching her videos, people saying they wanted to look like her. And again, I want to clarify that that is not her fault. She's posting pictures, she's trying to live her life, she has... For all we know, YouTube could be a distraction. We don't know what's going on, and it's not her fault. I don't think she should be banned off the platform. No hecking way Eugenia should be banned off the platform. Hell, if anyone needs to be banned off YouTube, it's Onision. Onision is like the one person who needs to be banned off YouTube. I'm very against YouTube censorship, but in that case, yes. But like, it goes both ways. So if you're going to ban Eugenia Cooney, are you gonna ban Boogie2988? Are you gonna ban anyone who has an unhealthy weight off of YouTube? I think that's stupid. Because YouTube can be a platform for people to talk about whatever, and you can vent and you can do all that, and it's just, why would you ban someone off of a site? And this is basically, I'm going to be getting back to this. You are responsible for your own actions and your own triggers. If something is triggering to you, you probably shouldn't watch it. Okay, first of all. And second of all, these young, impressionable people are getting influenced by this stuff, but I highly doubt that Eugenia would ever cause an eating disorder, in other words, or seeing, Thinspiration. It could make an eating disorder worse, it could inspire your eating disorder, but causing it, I don't think can happen. I think you already have to have something wrong in your mind in order to want to look that way, and I'll get into that. But the thing is, it's kind of like saying video games cause violence. No, they don't. If you murder someone and say, oh, I played a video game where I murdered people, if you murder people in a video game and then go murder people in real life, you clearly already have something wrong with your brain. Maybe playing all that Call of Duty didn't help you if your brain's messed up, but it's still, there's something inherently wrong there. So the thing about Eugenia is that she is not a conventionally desirable body type. She's too skinny for that. And I'm not saying, oh, she's ugly. I want you to make it very, very clear that I'm not body shaming anyone. But it is apparent that she is not naturally thin. It is apparent, she might be somewhat naturally thin to begin with, but it is apparent that she's not naturally that thin, and that she has struggled with extreme weight and highly noticeable weight loss. And the thing is that, most people wouldn't find that attractive. People say she's pretty. Her face is pretty. She's got good, but most people wouldn't be like, "Oh man, skeleton chick. I wanna fuck that." Most people aren't gonna say that. Like, most people wouldn't find extremely overweight or obese people attractive. For instance, I'm saying she's extremely underweight. Now, what I mean by that is that people do have preferences. So some people might find slimmer, smaller girls to be attractive. Some people might find larger girls with curves to be attractive. But if you're extremely overweight or extremely underweight, I doubt that many people are going to find you attractive. So the thing is that I am not going to be attracted to someone who is unhealthy. If you're clearly being unhealthy, if you're unhealthy, doesn't mean I won't be attracted to you. If I'm attracted to you for your personality and you're unhealthy, I'm going to want you to get better. I'm still going to be attracted to you for your personality. But if I'm like, oh man, I want to hook up with this person because they're physically attractive, I don't think most people will say, like, oh, I'm physically attracted to unhealth. If you say that, that's a weird problem, and you have a problem. What I'm saying is that I just remember so many relatively young people, and this is why I originally unfollowed Eugenia, and then I followed her again, and then I unfollowed her again. And I feel like this is just going to keep happening if she ends up getting help again. If she ends up getting help again, I am worried. Is that I just remember her distinctly. There were many comments from mostly young people, like I said, who watch her videos. Mostly young girls, who are probably the largest demographic for eating disorders. Obviously not the only people who can get them, and I'll get into that, but it's true. So, like I said, don't tell me they haven't been inspired by magazines, TV, other cultures, and not just, oh, they saw someone online who's extremely thin and totally not promoting it whatsoever. You know, there are things in our culture which promote thinness. So, the thing about this is that I remember many people saying that they wanted to look like Eugenia, which was scary. And I was always scared when I saw those comments, because I just always remember thinking, oh my gosh, like, this person needs help. So I'm actually going to go onto Eugenia's Instagram right now, and I'm going to talk about what I mean by this. Now, I'm not going to show the pictures because I don't want to trigger anyone, like I mentioned. I'm just not going to show these pictures online, but the problem with Eugenia is if I can find the old picture of her, that was a November picture. Wow, she posted a lot. She has posted a lot. It's that basically she was looking thinner and thinner for a solid couple years there and very unhealthy. And basically, I remember the last picture she posted before she went on a very long hiatus. These are all from November. Wow, it's taking forever to scroll because for some reason my Instagram on my iPod is very slow. But for instance, there was a picture she posted recently, which she has on October 4th, which was a Halloween, month of Halloween. This picture she posted recently, and again, I'm not going to show these pictures because I don't want to trigger anyone. So she has very, very skinny legs in this picture, and it's concerning, like kind of how she used to have very skinny legs. So that picture concerned me. Another one, like her knees are like bony, like you can see the bone in her knees. The thing is that Eugenia is also tall, so her being tall and underweight is just the whole thing. And the thing which scares me about her recent relapse is that I'm not really seeing people talking about it in the same way. I don't see people worried en masse the way they used to be. Now, I said there were many comments that used to body shame, and I'm relieved to not see the body shaming comments. I'm glad those are gone. But what I'm not relieved to see is the fact that so many people are still complimenting her, saying she's pretty, which could be seen as enabling her. And also, they should just not comment on her body, first of all. Second of all, people are literally saying, just ignoring that she might be relapsing. And yes, you should be supportive, you should be kind, even if she is relapsing. There's no excuse to be an asshole. But the point I'm making is that you really need to do your thing. So for instance, this picture from August, she looks a lot better. Her legs are larger, her knees look less, like she looks healthier in this picture. And then by October, she had lost a lot of weight again, which is scary, like I mentioned. So, but I'm just remembering how the old comments were, and a lot of them were basically, I want to look like you, you're so pretty, I want to look like you, and stuff like, oh, my sister tried to look like you, and it was honestly really scary. And what I'm going to say regarding Eugenia, and I believe that the worst she got pre-comeback was the picture she posted before leaving Instagram, which was the one cosplay, the Kingdom Hearts cosplay, and she looked extremely thin in that image. And again, I don't have a picture of it right here. Even if I find the picture, I'm not going to show it. Yeah, it was this one picture, and she looks extremely underweight. She has basically nothing on her. Her arms, and that's what really scares me, like her arms, and the fact that you can also tell by the skin is discolored, and she's dehydrated in this picture. So this is not something that you want to achieve. This is not a healthy body. Now, I'm saying that, I'm not saying, oh, she's not pretty or she should not do this, and I'll just say right now, she doesn't look as bad as she did there, but she looks worse than she did in August. That's the point I'm making. And so anyone who wants to look like this does not want a healthy body. They want an unrealistically skinny body, and they need help. If you already want to look like Eugenia, you have some sort of problem. You have a psychiatric problem because her body type is not realistic. If you want to look like a doll or whatever, your body type, that's not a realistic body type. So if your desire is to be anorexic, extremely underweight, that's a problem. If your desire is to be slim, skinny, fit, whatever, that's totally fine if you can go about it in a healthy way, which I will discuss in a minute. But if your desire is to look anorexic and look unhealthy, which she visibly is, then that is not healthy. That is just not, you need help. So, moving on to Jimin and the Jimin diet. So the thing about this is basically, and I actually have comments and screenshots to back this up, when I was looking into this. So I basically watched a video about Jimin's weight loss, and again, not because I'm stalking or because I'm like, oh my god, weight loss, yay. It's just, I'm curious. I like to do my research on these things. So basically, it's pretty noticeable, and I won't say that he looks, I don't think at the moment he looks unhealthy, even like right now, I don't think he looks unhealthy, and I think he's doing better now than he was at some point. But first of all, I'm really not good at judging whether or not someone looks healthy. Like with Eugenia, it's very, very obvious that she is not healthy, but generally speaking, I'm not exactly great at judging whether or not someone looks healthy before you're like, oh my god, he's hot. Like, that's not the point. I agree that Jimin is hot, but that isn't the point. So the reason I want to bring up these videos or these screenshots is because I was, so they said the worst era was around 2016, I believe, was when he was filming Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and that he opened up about this quote-unquote diet. And the reason I'm putting diet in quotes is, and I'll be getting into this, is that, and I'm unsure to the extent, I don't know enough information about what he was doing. I don't know what foods he was eating. I don't know if he was having snacks. I don't know what the, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm unaware of, like, what this diet consisted of. All I know is that he was eating very little, which basically was, I'll just say a meal a day maximum, because I'm not entirely sure how that all panned out. Because the 10 days thing is kind of, so I'm not sure if it was he ate a meal every day for 10 days, or was like 10 days he just didn't eat meals and he just had snacks, because obviously you can't eat nothing because you would die. So, well, technically speaking, you wouldn't die, but like considering the stuff he was doing. And so again, I'm unsure about that detail, but regardless, even a meal a day is not enough food, and I'll get into that. So like I said, I'm not sure what he was eating. And this point kind of ties into my next point. My next point regards TikTok, but it kind of ties into my next point. So, that basically he was not eating enough calories. Again, I'm not sure how many calories he was eating, but it clearly wasn't enough, and he was working out, obviously intensely. I don't know how much he was working out outside of choreo and dance and staying fit. I do know he would work out a lot. I'm sure most of them have pretty good workout regimens, which again is fine. Exercising is not bad. I want to be very, very clear on this, because, or dieting without the quotes is not bad. If you are on a healthy diet and you are trying to get healthy and your doctor says you need to get healthy, or if you're on a diet plan, or you're on a diet that you can manage and you're actually eating the calories you need and the right foods, you're fine, okay? Dieting is not bad. Exercising is not bad. But when you're not eating enough calories, I don't care how you split it up throughout the day. If you want to eat 6 meals a day, if you want to eat 6 meals a day, if you want to eat 2 meals a day, I don't really care. You just need to be getting the calories. And clearly he wasn't, because that was the thing they talked about, that he would pass out backstage during rehearsal, which again is not okay, and I'll be getting into that in a minute. So the reason I bring this up is because that's an indication that something is wrong. If you don't have the energy to do your exercise, if you're not eating enough calories, you're going to feel faint. Like, that's just true. I've had problems before. I tend to need to eat fairly frequently. Like I said, I don't eat a ton, but I do eat fairly frequently because I'll get shaky, and I've been shaky before, and I know how that feels. It's miserable. Having low blood sugar is the worst. So, and in that situation, it's like, oh, give me candy, give me cookies, give me artificial sugar. That's not good for you, but like, I need something in my system now. That's how it is. And I've had that happen to me before. Just if I haven't eaten for a few hours, if I've just been busy or just forgot to eat, or even, not even that, just if I'm just like, whatever. I'll just be like, oh shit, I need to eat something, and then I'll be like, I feel like I'm going to pass out. And that feeling, the only other times in my life that I have come close to actually thinking I would pass out, outside of not eating enough, was sometime when I was extremely ill, likely wasn't eating enough, but that probably wasn't the main reason I was going to pass out, because it was probably a combination of that and me being ill. But generally speaking, and thank God I have actually never passed out in my life, I hope to continue that trend. Again, that is not safe. And what I want to say right now is, what is it? The average, they say, is 2,000 calories. You're supposed to have 2,000 calories. I don't know what it is for adult males. It might be more. I'm not sure. I saw 2,500 somewhere. Don't know if that's accurate. But the thing is that he's eating... If you're eating one meal a day, you're probably not getting 2,000 calories. And this is an important thing. If you're exercising rigorously or doing something really hard, you're probably going to need more calories, not less. You're going to need to burn more calories. You need to have calories. And I know these people want to be at a calorie deficit so they can lose weight. But that's not a healthy... Being at a calorie deficit is not a healthy way to lose weight at all. Because if you're at a huge calorie deficit, then you're just going to pass out and not have the nutrients you need. So, and this sounds like I'm lecturing Jimin. I'm not, and I'll get into why I'm talking about this in a minute, because, and I want to say that he said that he realized it wasn't a good idea, which I think is important to remember going forward before anyone's like, oh my god, he totally endorsed that as enabling kids. No, he literally said it was a bad idea. And from all things I've seen, he you know, it's like, if you've lived that way, you don't want to live it. You know what I mean? Like, most people who've dealt with that, I would say, in other words, I'll just say harming yourself to look good for other people. I'll just put it that way. Because I can't diagnose him based on, like, Eugenia was confirmed to have an eating disorder, but even without it, it's pretty darn obvious she has one. But, like, again, based on that information, and I'm saying it wasn't just, 10 days that it was a problem. He had problems with it, you know, for a decent period of time, and might still have problems with it. I don't know. I haven't, like I said. But the thing is that the calories you need to have are going to be more if you're exercising a lot. And if you see how intense a lot of the choreography is for BTS dances, there's just the ones I've seen the most. I mean, I'm not going to say blood, sweat, and tears. I'm not going to say it's the hardest choreo, but it is one of the harder ones. And that is scary to think. And I think what legitimately scares me is when you think, because like somebody like Eugenia, she's eating very little, but she's not active. And I'm not saying that's okay. She's not remotely healthy. But when you eat very little and you're still able to be active, that's what scares me. It's like, it legitimately makes me wonder, like, are you okay? Because, like, and obviously if you're passing out, like, I don't get the impression that Eugenia passes out when she's not active. If she tried to run a mile, she'd pass out. I can guarantee you that. And it's just like, and this is the problem. So I wanna bring this up because when I was looking into this, I found a bunch of people who were talking about doing this like it was a big deal. And I put diet in quotes because this is not a diet, this is restriction. Regardless of whether or not Jimin has had an eating disorder, it's still restricting. That's specifically what he was doing. He was restricting. There's no other explanation to 1 meal a day maximum. That is restriction. That is not a diet. There is a difference between dieting and restricting. So I'm bringing this up because I have these pictures. So I'm not gonna show these. I don't want to expose anyone's name or anything either, but I'm just gonna tell you what's going on in these pictures. So basically, if I still have them on my phone, I really hope I do because these are important to talk about. Yes, I still have these. So basically, I found multiple YouTube videos. I didn't really watch them, but I found multiple vlogs. This person said, I tried the BTS Jimin diet. I did the BTS Jimin diet and I lost some amount of weight. I don't have what it was, but that's, in other words, basically saying I lost weight, so you should try it too. If you're putting you lost weight in the title, that's either clickbait or you're trying to get people to also try it. This video was called, this one seemed to be really legitimate. This one said this is what happens when you do the BTS Jimin diet. It had hair loss, and I ruined my metabolism. Those are the things in the thumbnail, which, yeah, that's about right. If you starve yourself, you're gonna fuck shit up. And before anyone's like, OMG, Eugenia's hair is fake, Eugenia said that she got lucky with her hair and not experiencing hair loss. Probably not everyone with anorexia experiences hair loss, but you're doing this. So, another video of I tried the gym and diet, and this looks like a before and after picture, and it's like she lost weight. This person lost weight. And again, I want to be very, very clear here. There's two possibilities for these types of videos. One is that these people are legitimately desperate to lose weight, and I'll get into this, and are doing that. And the other possibility, which in the case of a vlog or YouTube video is more likely, is someone who is just doing a thing, just doing a quote-unquote challenging thing to be trendy. It's like, that's dangerous. You should never do a trend that can hurt yourself. Those extreme dieting trends, if you're not prepared, even if it's a diet that's not inherently bad, like something like keto, that's still an extreme diet, and you would have to be prepared to go on it. You can't just, oh, I'm gonna go on keto for 10 days. Like, even that is questionable. But not eating enough for 10 days, just randomly not eating enough, is not okay. Like, if you're doing it for YouTube attention, if you're doing it for views, if you're doing it because you think, oh, I can do this, that's not okay. And he literally never said it was a diet. It's literally restriction, and he said that it was a bad idea, because evidently if you're passing out, this is a bad idea. So again, I have this screenshot of these YouTube videos. So I found a Quora ask, and this person asked the question, what did Jimin from BTS eat while trying to lose weight back when he had his cute chubby cheeks, which I thought was funny, but that you put that in the question. But because genuinely, I don't care about his cheeks. That sounded rude, like, oh my god, I don't care about his cheeks. Like, no, I mean, I care, but like, I mean, that's not something I'm like, oh, you should be fat, you should be skinny, just don't starve yourself. That's the only caveat I have. But that was the question that was asked. So I screenshotted this answer, because this answer is basically what happened. So this person said, in all caps at the beginning of the thing, it said, do not attempt to do the following, in all caps, and then said the answer is almost nothing. He went on a diet in which he wouldn't eat a proper meal for 9 days, which is basically almost starving himself. Then on the 10th day, he would eat a meal in addition. He would drink lots of water and practice dancing for hours and hours and hours. He was constantly fainting, according to the other members, which is normal because his body didn't have enough energy. So that's literally what that's what it said. It literally, no. So do not recommend. I do not recommend. And he does not recommend. I mean, he never said like, oh, I do not recommend. But like, he literally said, there was a clip where he said something about the meal for 10 days, and he said something about like, then I realized it was a bad idea. So I'm like, duh. Of course it's a bad idea. So I got a screenshot of this answer because I thought this was a good answer. But then some of the replies to this, and I'm not smiling because I'm like, ah, ha, ha, that's so I'm like just trying to contain the fact that this is just scary. This is scary. The replies to this person said, I'ma continue this diet, lol. When they say stuff like lol or I'm fine, XD, you're making light of the fact that you have a serious problem. You said you're going to continue it, which would imply that you are doing it. This person also replied, said, right though, I'm continuing it. This person said it slows down your metabolism, which might be true. If you don't eat enough, it might slow down your metabolism, but just, wouldn't you not want it to slow down your metabolism? I don't know. The point is that if you're quote unquote continuing to eat almost nothing, that's not a diet. That's saying you're restricting and you are continuing to restrict. That's literally what you're saying, which again is not healthy. This person said, thank you, this was helpful. Helpful for what? Helpful because you want to lose weight and you're trying to starve yourself? Is that why this is helpful? Okay, so the next page one said, I already did this diet many times before, it doesn't hurt me. So people constantly say it doesn't hurt them, it doesn't hurt them. A couple things about this. First of all, it probably does hurt them and they probably don't realize it. Because you tend to be in a delusional mindset. If you have a mental illness, you tend to not think about it in the same way that an outsider would think about it. Like, if you have an eating disorder, you're probably going to be in some form of denial at some point, or say, oh, it's fine, because you want to keep enabling that eating disorder. The other thing is that, I don't know about these people, but it's very likely that if they eat very little, which isn't okay regardless of what kind of activity you're doing, you still need to eat. Even if you're a couch potato, you still need to eat. But my other guess would be that these people who are probably, I don't know, 12 to 15-year-old girls, most of the armies, I don't know. I'm 17, but again, I'm very immature, so just call me out on it already. And it's not only girls, I know that, and I'll explain. I mean, the fact that Jimin was doing this shows you that it's not only girls, and the fact that people are like, oh, only girls struggle with this is, like, fucking bullshit, and you need to shut up. But, I will just say that this is legitimately scaring me, that someone's like, oh, I already did this before, and it doesn't hurt me. How? How doesn't it hurt you? I don't understand. And another reply said, I'm going to attempt his diet because I'm really fat. So whether or not this person is actually fat, I don't know. What I would say is if you're actually fat and need to lose weight, please go to a doctor and get professional help on how you can lose weight, because there are healthy ways to lose weight without starving yourself. All right, so there's more of this. So this was another reply. This person said, I don't think he ever really said what he was eating, just said it wasn't much and nowhere near enough to feed his body. He was very active and went so far to the point that he was on the verge of passing out the entire BS&T music video. If you're trying to lose weight, don't do what Jimin did. Also, some people just naturally have chubby cheeks or something else that no matter what you do, it's always going to be like that. BTS talks about self-love and we are all on that journey together. So, yes, so it's ridiculous. And when I say I'm not making fun of these people for quote-unquote enabling it, or saying I want to, or they're not even telling other people to do it, they're just saying like, oh, I'm gonna try this diet, or I am trying this diet, or it doesn't hurt me. I'm not making fun of people for saying that, because those people probably have a problem. I'm not making fun of people for saying, oh, I want to look like Eugenia Cooney, because trust me, I've been a teenage, I still am technically a teenage girl. It's like, I get it. I've totally been in positions where it's like, oh, I want to look like that person. Blah, 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 blah. But it's like, oh, I want to lose weight. Like, I've been in these positions. Like, the people who watch stuff like Eugenia Cooney and watch YouTubers like this, I'm in that target demographic, okay? Especially when I was watching her when I was like 15. I was in that target demographic. And there's many people younger than me who watch her. Like I said, I'm immature a lot. A lot. Not all of them. I'm sure there are some armies who are, like, older, but a lot of them are probably younger than me, and I'm a very overprotective person, so I'm just like, you can't just, like, it scares me. It's like you're 12 and you're saying, oh, I'm just gonna starve myself. Like, what the fuck? So again, this is me speaking out of concern. This is not me speaking out of hate or saying you need to stop. So I'm not gonna show this picture because again I don't want to trigger anybody, but it has Jimin's biceps now 1 versus now 3. Oh, that was the DVD. Okay, I couldn't think of them. So different amount of time, and it says stop dieting with a crying face. So you can definitely see there that there was a lot of weight loss. And again, the word dieting is really misleading because it should be restricting. Stop restricting. And I'm not saying that every form of eating disorder involves restricting, but that's what he was doing, so I'm just making a point. So in this picture said back in BST era at the making of the song. After the director yelled cut, Jimin bent over exhausted. Jen went over to ask if he was okay. I'm like, that's not okay. I mean, I know I go crazy when I work out, but like, I'm out of shape as shit. Like, being like, oh, I'm gonna, like, he's not just like, oh, I'm out of breath, which is normal if you're working out, but he's like going to pass out, and it's like, that's not okay. It's just a problem. It's like, anyone who would endorse this, and also anyone who thinks this is cute, I mean, yeah, I guess it was nice of Jen to go check on him, but like, it's not cute. Okay, just like, that's another thing that bothers me. Not just armies, but like fans of like anything who glamorize shit that's not cute, and it's just like, oh, this is cute. Like, no, it's not cute. Shut up. So, just, I've seen that happen a lot online. People who will just be like, oh, this is like, you know, totally fine, even when it's not. And it's just, it's scary. It's scary. So, yeah, these two images that I have, this one with the biceps and this one with him bending over like that, those are two images I have which show that, show the problem here. Again, I am not talking shit about anyone. I just want to be very clear about this. This is out of concern. So, I think what really bothered me is there was this one site saying, there was this one K-pop site which was saying how he used, I don't have screenshots of it, but it was an article which was saying how he revealed how he lost weight, and then was like, oh, that's basically anorexia, and then didn't make a big deal out of it. And at the end of the article, it's like, well, it's effective way to lose weight. I'm like, are you actually endorsing this? Oh my god. So, eating just one meal for 10 days, according to that, no, this isn't okay. So, the final thing I want to bring up is this influx of pro-an on TikTok, but not so much that, but just specifically a video that I saw, now this wasn't, I didn't see the direct video, I saw a, duet of it with someone saying, hey, this is fucked up, but actually, a couple of them that I saw. So I saw one which basically said, oh, if you have cravings, you should just drink water, you know, like, which could be good advice, I guess, if you're, like, overeating and you have lots of cravings, but, like, if you're hungry, you need food. You're hungry. Like, you need food. Also, just want to say, energy drinks and vitamins aren't going to cut it. You need food in your body. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to have one meal a day and only have energy drinks and vitamins. And when I say that, I'm sure there is someone, while I still don't recommend it, I'm sure there's someone who could make eating like one meal a day, you could make it work if you had a lot of snacks. And I don't mean like junk snacks, I mean if you had like healthy snacks every hour, then maybe, but again, that's not okay. It's generally not, it's not healthy, you're not eating enough, and especially if you're working out. I mean, what I was saying is that he was doing intense dance practice, and the thing about like people who are very, very athletic, they need to eat more calories, not less. So look at The Rock. The Rock is an extreme example of being extremely buff, and he's very large guy, very buff, and he eats a shit ton of calories because he has to be that way. Because that's who he is. He's The Rock. So he eats a ton. I mean, yeah. So what I was saying is that I just remember seeing that one about the water, and the one that really got me was one that there was a video that recommended, oh, this is what you do, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was something like, oh, for breakfast, eat 1 egg. For lunch, eat 3 eggs. And that hit home for me because I have a personal story about eggs. I don't even like eggs. I'm gonna say this right now. No offense, anyone who likes eggs. And there is nothing wrong with eggs. Eggs are relatively healthy. I have nothing against eggs. But I just want to say that you could say eggs and salad. Hey, they're both healthy food. You're getting protein, you're getting vegetables, which are both healthy and both things you need in your diet. But that's not enough. And this is why I'm going to talk about this. So when this was probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I was probably like, I don't know, 13, 12. I don't know how old I was. And I was taking swimming lessons at the Y. It was over the summer. I was just taking them like Saturday mornings at the Y. So I've never been a morning person. I don't like getting up early. I don't like getting out of bed. And one of the things that I'm really not good at doing in the morning is I'm really not good at eating early in the morning. I'll never eat like a large meal early in the morning. Like, I just don't do that. So an example of this would be typically, even now when I have class, and I'm not like going to the gym and working out, so if I was going to the gym and working out, I would need to eat more because, like I said, I'm burning all those calories. But I'll go to class and I will only eat like a granola bar in the car, but I still eat that because I have to eat something even if I'm not hungry, because it's like I'm gonna pass out otherwise. And on Wednesdays it's fine because I can eat lunch at like 10, 11, which isn't really lunch, but Fridays, I don't even get to eat lunch till 11:30. So I'm often really hungry. I'm like, shit, I'm hungry. Because I'm not supposed to eat in my government class. So I'm like, shit, I'm hungry. But the thing about the egg, the specific story about the egg that I remember, and again, this wasn't restriction. This is just, oh, I'm lazy. I don't want to eat in the morning. I actually feel nauseous when I eat in the morning. So I had to get up it wasn't that early, but it was early for me at the time, and I had a hard-boiled egg for breakfast, just a hard-boiled egg, okay? So, and I went to my swim lesson. So the swim lesson was like half an hour long, and I remember what happened was that it was about 15-20 minutes through, I started feeling really faint. Like, it wasn't even faint, but I was faint, and like my stomach was hurting, and I'm like, why is this happening? But I felt faint. I don't even know if I entirely felt faint. I think I also felt queasy, like I felt ill, and I could not figure out why. I'm like, and then I was like, I feel hungry, because you know when your stomach gets really upset, and sometimes when you're hungry you'll get really queasy. That can happen to me sometimes. It's like I can't decide if I'm hungry because I feel awful, but it's like I also need food. So sometimes that'll happen, and I was like, I feel hungry. This doesn't make any sense. I had protein, because you always think, oh, if you're going to work out, oh, you know, protein is this healthy thing to have, and it's like, yeah, it is. Protein is good for you, or you should have protein with your meal. If you don't have protein with your meal, you'll pass out. Like, that's what everyone's always saying. You need protein, which is true, but I just had protein. I just had that egg, and I went to my swim lesson, and I remember on the way home, I'm just like, what the heck? I'm like, why was I thinking I was going to pass out? I'm like, I literally ate an egg. I ate protein. And it's like, and I forget, it was one of my parents or someone was saying, like, you can't just eat protein. Like, you need to eat carbs, too. You need carbs. And I'm like, wait, aren't carbs bad for you? Like, having too many carbs is bad for you? And I just want to be clear. I wasn't restricting. I wasn't like, oh, I won't eat carbs because I'm fat. I was like, oh, I didn't have time. And I'm just like, oh, I don't need carbs. It's early in the morning. I'm just going to have this egg. So I was like, you know, aren't excess carbs bad for you? And then it's like, no. And I've learned this in biology class. You burn through carbs before you burn through proteins. Carbs are the first thing your body burns through with energy. So, and also, it was early in the morning, so that was probably, that egg was the only thing I had eaten in hours. And like I said, your body burns carbs. You need carbs if you're going to be working out. So this is just another thing that I want to say. Eating only eggs and salad, that's not okay. It's not healthy. It's so telling someone, so going on TikTok or some other site and telling someone, oh, this is what you should do to be healthy. Yeah, you might not gain weight, you might lose weight, but you're not being healthy and you're not getting the nutrients you need. And I know this from experience. This is one experience I had of an egg. I ate an egg, I went and worked out, I felt bad. I needed carbs. That's just the gist of it. And it's just funny that this is like this, I remember this experience because it's like when people talk about, oh, you should eat eggs, it's just like, I don't know. So, I want to say that the thing that really does worry me is just how many of these people, like I said, are probably 12 to 15-year-old girls. Not all of them are girls. Not all of them are 12 to 15. I'm aware of that, especially with like Eugenia. Even younger people, like people who are like 11, watch her. It's just like, and I'm not blaming anyone for enabling these people, but it's a problem when I see this stuff and it's like, oh, I'm starting to do this quote unquote diet. I think calling it a diet it's extremely harmful because you shouldn't be making a YouTube video called, you shouldn't be making a video of you starving yourself in the first place. You shouldn't be making a YouTube video called, I ate almost nothing for 10 days. That's basically what it should have been called. That's what it was. I ate next to nothing for 10 days. I tried not to eat for 10 days. Or like, I restricted my caloric intake for 10 days. No, it's like, oh, I did a celebrity diet for 10 days. It's like, no, you didn't. And it's like extremely scary because I think because it's like I just see all these people who are just like, all these people in the comments who are like, I do this all the time. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt me. I don't eat anything. I'm fine. Like, what the heck? I saw one. I actually believe there were YouTube comments as well. I want to read through these real quick. So these are just because this was a video. I forget what this video, if it was showing his weight loss. I forget which video this was, but I have these YouTube comments as well. I don't get hungry that much, so I don't really eat as much. I am underweight, but I don't feel hungry, so I'm not on a diet. If I do eat a lot / binge, I am on my period, but anyway, I'm not an eater. So just saying, even like saying I'm not an eater, I know I say that sometimes, but I just mean like I graze. Grazing isn't necessarily unhealthy. Some people recommend it, but I don't eat those gigantic portion sizes that they serve you in America. Like, I don't sit down at a restaurant and eat a full plate of food like that. I don't do that. I can't do that. That would be unhealthy for me because I feel I can't do it. Like, I'm like I think, but this is an example saying, oh, I'm not an eater. Generally speaking, if you say you're hungry. If you say you're not hungry, that's what they all say. Like, if you have an eating disorder, you're probably going to say that because you have to trick your brain into thinking you're not hungry so you can keep restricting. That means you need help. So this person said, one meal once a day, maybe twice. I eat snacks legit every 2 hours. So at least this person's eating snacks 1 or 2 meals a day. I've probably done that before on specific days, but I do eat snacks. Like I said, I don't eat large meals. I probably eat like 4 in a day, but I don't eat large meals at all. So at least this person's having snacks every 2 hours, which, again, isn't too bad, because I will do that myself. But, again, I still wouldn't say 1 or maybe 2 meals a day. I don't think that's probably not the best idea. Because there was a period of time, I remember I was really depressed and I wasn't eating meals. I would just eat, like, I talked about this in my last video, because I was just talking about how depressed I was. But I would just eat, like, snacks because I was too lazy to make anything. It's like now I have, like, pasta and fruit. Like, I actually make sure I eat a meal, even though it's not large. So I have a few more comments. This person, nope, I can do Jimin's diet with no problem. I do it for a few times, and it actually works. Smiley face! Like, if by works you mean you lose weight in an unhealthy fashion, then yes, but like, no, it's... And this person, LMAO, I can. Good for you, with a question mark. I thought that comment was good. And then somebody said... This person said, I already did it because I don't really eat food. I only drink water and eat a watermelon, so I'm fine. Smiley face. It's like, how do you live? Seriously, and this person was like, only watermelon? Are you silly or what? Don't be blind. You will be sick if you will continue to live like that. It's true. This person said, no, I think he ate only 1 meal every 10 days, not 1 meal a day, which is even worse. Which is true. I mean, if that was the case, it's true that is worse. This person said, I've gone 10 days without eating. I was perfectly fine, but that's just me. I mean, who knows why they went 10 days without eating. Maybe they were really, really sick or something, because sometimes you can't eat if you're really sick or have no appetite, but still. Just mentioning it casually like that and saying you were just fine... Even if you're not exercising like Jimin was, that's still not okay. That's not even remotely okay. It's eating 1 meal every 10 days, not 1 meal a day. This person just said, I can. This person said, I do that a lot. It's not only because I literally hate myself, but because I just don't really feel like eating. So at least this person is honest in saying they hate themselves. So that means that they're doing this. This person says that summer break is over for me in literally 6 hours. Tomorrow is my first day of school, and it's currently 00:25, that's military time. And in school, I usually skip meals because I don't really feel it. My stomach hurts growling when the lesson is going, but when it's just time to eat, I don't feel like it. Just my own problem. I should stop before it looks like I'm desperate for help. LMFAO. So this person seems genuine, probably depressed, and likely has some form of eating disorder or is restricting. So I really hope this person gets help. Well, I hope all of them get help, but this person isn't being like, OMG, this person isn't bragging. This person is aware that they have a problem, which I think is important. So I really, really hope that this person gets help. And this comment was right on the money. It said, I don't think that's diet. There's a difference between diet and starving yourself. I can go a weekend without eating barely anything. That's just not okay. Even, like, a weekend is 2 days. Even 2 days without eating is not okay. Like, how is this okay? I have an eating disorder, so I guess they were trying to say disorder, and then he said, I'm fine anyway, which, you're not fine. If you have an eating disorder, that's a problem. You're sick. You need help. This person said, don't do this diet. This is dangerous for your health. We're lucky that Chum Chum is still healthy and doesn't have anorexia. Please eat well and don't force your body in this manner. Thank you! I found an intellectual. So thank God for that comment. So yeah, so basically that's the gist of it. Yeah, and these pictures, because I happen to have these recent pictures of Jimin saved. I mean, he looks good in this picture. I just can't tell because he's wearing a large coat, so I can't tell. But and I also have this picture of Jennie from Blackpink, and she's just quite slim in this picture. Doesn't necessarily look unhealthy, but it does look very skinny, so I don't know. But my point stands. So please, please, please take care of yourself. If you are desperate enough to lose weight that you're trying to starve yourself, regardless of form, please, first of all, please don't call restricting a diet. Please don't promote eating disorders. Don't go on a social media app like TikTok. And I know I said people are responsible for their triggers, and that's true. People are responsible for their triggers when it comes to, like, oh, Eugenia Cooney's not promoting anything. She just happens to have an eating disorder. If you're triggered by her appearance, that's perfectly valid, but you shouldn't be watching her. She shouldn't be banned. But do not promote eating disorders in any way, shape, or form. Don't be like, don't brag about your eating disorder. Just don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't be like, oh, I can. It's not a competition, guys. It's like, are you having a competition to who can eat the less? This is like literally that comment section is like, yeah, I mean, I know armies are competitive and shit, but like, this is the wrong thing to be competitive about, for the love of God. Second is that you just don't, again, I'm saying don't enable people. Don't eat just eggs. Don't eat just protein and like greens. You need carbs. Don't eat one meal a day. Don't go 2 to 10 days without. Don't go 1 day without eating. Please just eat. Don't film videos of yourself going. Don't do a diet for the internet, even if you don't have an eating disorder. Don't go online and film that. That's not safe. It just isn't. So, many things that you shouldn't do. But genuinely speaking, calling this a diet or a lifestyle needs to stop. This is not healthy. Jimin said it wasn't healthy. And it's evidently not healthy, and this is scary, and young people who are online and being influenced by this stuff or just think that, are desperate to lose weight and just think this is a smart thing or want to look anorexic. If you want to look anorexic, you have a problem and you need to get help. Genuinely, if you think if you think you're developing an eating disorder, or if you catch yourself thinking like this, if you catch yourself thinking, oh, I could starve myself for several days, no big deal. Or if you catch yourself thinking, man, I really want to look like Eugenia Cooney, you need help. And I'm not saying that in a rude way. You actually need help. The other thing is that, if you are promoting, even if you have an eating disorder, that's not an excuse to promote eating disorders. And literally just, you need help. You can't just do that. And if you actually think you're fat, if you actually need to lose weight, if you think you're overweight and need to lose weight, go to a doctor and first of all see if you're really overweight. If you're actually overweight, ask the doctor for some healthy ways you can lose weight. The doctor will probably have healthy ways for you to lose weight if the doctor actually thinks you're overweight. If the doctor doesn't think you're overweight, then you're probably fine and don't need to lose weight. If you want to lose weight to better yourself, or you want to be more fit or athletic, or you want to work out more, that's perfectly fine and valid, but you can't just do that. You need to eat enough carbs, you need to eat enough calories, and you can't just be exercising like crazy because without having enough calories to back it up, you're gonna hurt yourself, and it's not okay. So basically, just please, and this is just what I say, and I'm not shaming anyone who's struggling with an eating disorder. Again, I'm genuinely concerned for these people. Most of these people are probably younger than me, and they're just casually bragging about this. It's really scary, if I'm honest. So, again, please, if you think you have a problem, please get help. So just please ask a doctor, talk to an adult. Just I know. Yeah, so this is just something that's legitimately scary, and going online and flexing about your disorder, or going online and making a video as a challenge saying that's a diet. I know people would do like diet challenges all the time, but that's not dieting, it's just restricting. So promoting that as a diet and making YouTube videos on it is not okay. It's in no universe is that okay, and I just refuse to support that. I just think it's not okay. Why would you do that to yourself? It's one of those things, and this is the thing I want to say, is that a lot of these people will constantly say, and I get it's a mindset when you have an eating disorder. I mentioned it with Eugenia. It's like how you'll love others and accept others, but not yourself. And it's like, that's true. It's like Eugenia would always say, and it's great to be nice to others. Please be nice to other people. I had this thing for a long time, like I said, where I would constantly tell everyone else they were pretty or cute, and then people would tell me, and I'd be like, no, I'm not. Because it was just like, oh, it's bad to say nice things about yourself. No, it isn't. You really should. Don't be arrogant, but there's a difference between saying nice things about yourself when they're true and being an arrogant asshole. And in the case, it's like, and I mean, I literally read a comment. Somebody was saying something like, unfortunately, I don't have a screenshot of this comment, but somebody saying something like, because all the people were talking, it was one of those videos, all the people were talking about Jemin in the comment, and was like, you know, he should take care of himself. And this person is like, yeah, he should. There's nothing wrong of saying that, but you should take care of yourselves too. And it's like, that's a really great point. Like, it's like, I wonder how many of these people will actually take care of themselves and are actually, and I'm not shaming anyone, like I said, but it's just like, it's really easy to observe as an outsider, hey, this isn't healthy, but at the same time, you have your own stuff you need to work through, and everyone needs to work through their own stuff. And if you're triggered, please don't watch these videos. If you're triggered by that, just again, please don't follow people who trigger you. I'm just saying, like Eugenia, if Eugenia triggers you, please don't follow her. It's just unfollow her. Please don't send hate to anyone. I mentioned, okay, the last thing I want you to do is to go into these comment sections and like have these like 12 to 15 year old girls and be like, oh my god, you're promoting an eating disorder. Like, that is the last thing you should do. Absolutely not. I mean, but people need to know that what's going on is not okay. So again, please don't send hate. And like I said, what you're doing is not okay. So anyway, guys, that's about all I had to say. That was a really long-winded video. Wow, 2-hour-long videos in like 3 days. Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, so I don't really have much else to say other than please take care of yourself, for real. And anyway, I hope everyone has a fantastic night, because it is nighttime here. It is, 11:34 p.m. So I hope everyone has a fantastic night, and I will see you all soon. Probably won't film again until Tuesday if I decide to film. Because I actually have, I'm actually going to be out of town this weekend. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers. Goodbye.